Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Linda and at this podcast we talk about all the things that I've been up to creative wise in the past month. I love to knit and this month I've also been sewing a little bit, so that will also be included in this video. And that's why this podcast is called What Lynn Makes, since I'm going over all the things that I've been making. Today we have 3 finished objects, which I'm very excited to show to you. And of course, one of them is something that I'm wearing. It is the Cardigan number 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I am really a fan of My Favorite Things Knitwear. I love her designs. Her style is something that I'm drawn to and I love to wear. I have made this in Sandnes Garn Peer-Gynt, held together with a mohair by Cardigan, and it is called the Kitsera Tweed. Since throughout the fabric it has these little variegations. I hope it is picking up on camera, but the mohair is a little bit varying in colors, from little grey, brown to also bits of ochre, which in my opinion give the fabric a really nice depth and warmth to the fabric. And I will give you a little closer look. I hope you can see the ochre bits in the fabric. So yeah, it is a crew neck style, which I like way better than V-neck. I hadn't made any cardigans for myself before, so I really needed one in my wardrobe, and so far I am really happy to own this piece. I really love the crew neck, since you can also wear it like this and it is more V-neck, but I'm wearing it button up all the way as well if I'm a little cold, so I can adjust it to the temperature around me, which is nice. And I wear it a little tucked in to my pants like this. The sleeves hit to this point, which I really like, and the fabric is just so thick and warm and soft and cozy. Mohair is really good. I can definitely recommend the mohair by Cardigan. It has really long fluffs of mohair, so that's something to keep in mind for your own design if that's suiting to what you want, but it is definitely soft. And yeah, so far my favorite mohair, I think, but I have not knit much with mohair, so I'm not an expert, but I did want to share that thought. Apart from that, last time I was just knitting on the collar, and I have also told you a little bit about a little change that I've made, and that is this little ridge all along the collar. This is not in the pattern. The pattern calls for a double knit ridge right before you go into the ribbing, which is also really nice, but I wanted it to stand out a little bit better. And I thought if I applied this technique, it would feel a little more intentional. So right here, I changed up the pattern a little bit. Instead of the double knitting that it was calling for, I applied a technique. I don't know if it has a name. But what I did is I picked up the stitches that I needed for the collar. I knit in stockinette for 3 rows. And when I was on the right side row, I went with my needle to the back of the work and pick up the purl bomb from the first row and knit that together with one of the knit stitches. And when repeating that, you get to cinch in the little stockinette band that you've created and create a little ridge. And I think it looks really neat. It feels quite sturdy and it really suits this. And I think I achieved the goal of making it look a little more intentional. So I'm happy with that. Yes. If that went a little bit too fast for you, these explanations, I've also explained it in my ravelry, which I will link down below, so you can try this technique for yourself. Is there anything else to say about the cardigan number 9? Oh yeah, the buttons. The buttons. In my last podcast episode, I've explained that I wanted very dark brown buttons for this cardigan. That was a vision that I had, but I had a hard time finding those. I found a lot of black buttons, but those were like coded or painted. And I like it when the buttons are quite natural, so you can see the little nerves or the little lines of the wood. And I couldn't find buttons that had that and were still quite dark. Darker than this fabric. So I found these buttons and there's no coating on these. So I thought, if I don't like them in person, I can stain the buttons and make them a little darker. And that was an experiment that I wanted to try, but when they arrived, I laid them on my cardigan and I thought, like, I don't think they need any changes. I can attach them like this, and if I get bored of that, if I do want them darker, I can still try that in the future. So for now, I've put on my buttons and I'm really happy with the look. They arrived pretty late, so I've been wearing this cardigan for a week, and so far not sick of the cute light buttons. Okay, to be honest, I'm recording this video for the second time, since the first time I forgot to put on my microphone to turn it on and there was no sound. So I'm really thinking about, okay, am I forgetting something because I've said everything already? And I hope that's not too noticeable, but I wanted to say it anyway. Yeah, that's a shame, but we are here now. We are pulling through. I wanted to make this video for you guys. So yeah, first finished object of the day. I have also finished my, let's put it to the right side out. Second finished object of today is the Tendreil sweater by the Knitwear. I've made it in this lovely vibrant blue color, inspired by her sample photo. I really wanted a sweater that stands out color wise, and I like this really nice detail on the front of the shoulder, front of the sweater, with this lightning bolt. This is made with cable stitches, 1x1 cable stitches, and I hadn't tried that before, but it was quite easy to do so. And in my yarn, it is a little bit subtle. It's a little bit more muted and to the background or something. It disappears a little bit in the fabric, which was, I said, a little bit maybe, but I think it's subtle right now, which also has a charm. I have been knitting it up in Isker Jensen yarn, and held together with Sandnesgarn Tim Peer Gint, or both in the blue colorway. You have to really be close up to the sweater to see that detail. My hair often falls over it, but yeah, it's something different, it's something new. I like that. Yes, I will put it on for you to show you how it fits. Here is my Tendreil sweater. I will come a little closer. As you can see, I really like this detail of the drop shoulder going into the sleeves. I think she made a really good design decision on that one. And as you can see, the the detail is a bit subtle. And we have this double folded collar. She included a little rib section in the collar, which makes it lay really nice and flat. But I do think it is a little bit, yeah, you can really notice that it's a row of Purl bum, so I would like to have something more subtle that doesn't break up the nice ribbing, but I'm not going back to change that. The length of the sweater, it hits right here. I changed the ribbing in the sweater since I've showed it last. It was like 12 centimeters long. Since that was recommended in the pattern or written out in the instructions, but later I realized that her sample photos have a little shorter ribbing, and I like that way better. So I went back, I ripped back my ribbing at the bottom, and with that I am way happier with the overall fit and look of it. So that's a design change I'm really happy that I made. There's also 1x1 ribbing in the cuffs, and I ran into some trouble in the sleeves, as I mentioned in the last podcast episode, because I finished doing the entire sleeve according to the pattern, but when I tried it on it was like really short, so I was like, this cannot be right. So I measured it, and it turns out that it was that was what the pattern wanted me to do, so I didn't do anything wrong, but maybe I just have really long arms or something. It didn't work out for me, so I ripped back my sleeve. At that point there was just only one, and reknitted it. With that I added another row in between every decrease round to get it to this length, which I still think is a little short for my preferences, since I'm pulling it down all the time, like this. Maybe this is my preferred sleeve length, but it hits right here. Yeah. So that's everything about my Tendreil sweater. I'm really happy with it. I've been wearing it quite some time already, and a really bright blue electric blue color is just really fun to be wearing. So yeah, that's it. On to my next finished object. Okay, I'm back in my cardigan, since I can open this up a little bit since it's quite warm. So that's why I want to wear this right now. My next finished object is something I haven't been working on before. I casted it on this month, and it is these sailor slippers, which you have probably heard about since they are really popular right now. These sailor slippers by, I don't know, their name will be in the screen, which are these slippers that you work on really bulky yarn, and afterwards you throw them in the washing machine to get them felted and shrunk up. And I finished these 3 days ago, I think. They do work up quite fast. The knitting part is over before you know it. How it is worked is you pick up or you cast on stitches for the back of the slipper. You knit this section, then you cast off, you pick up stitches and cast on stitches for the front of the foot, and you knit this way flat. Then you work the sole flat in this direction, but later it is folded up and sewn together. So this way, and after you've sewn that all together, you pick up and do an I-cord on the opening of the foot. Is that how you call this? I think so. The felting instructions really clear, pattern instructions really clear, really beginner friendly, I would say. The sewing up took a lot longer than I expected. but that is usually the case. The knitting is fast, and then putting it all together takes like the same amount of time or even more. So that was a bit tedious, felt tedious, but definitely worth it. These slippers are a gift knit for my sister-in-law, since in a few days, 2 days actually, we celebrate Sinterklaas. That's not Santa Claus or Christmas related. It is a totally different holiday that's, I think, only in the Netherlands. It is very similar to Christmas. We also celebrate Christmas, but this is around the 5th of December, this holiday. Without going too much into detail on the holiday, because that's not why you are here, we had this tradition to draw names. Maybe it's Secret Santa-like, and I drawn my sister-in-law. And the intention is to make something for that person or to buy something for that person and create a rhyme for them, which I still need to do. And the tradition is that you keep that present a secret for that person until it's given, and they have to guess which has given them to this person. So I also included it to be a secret for my boyfriend, even though we live together, which was actually quite hard, because I knit on the couch and he sits next to me, and of course he asked me what I was making, and I avoided that question for some time. I just asked him, so started talking about something else, or I don't know, and then he asked me again, what are you making exactly? And I just said, full confidence, I'm making a hat. And he's like, okay, you're making a hat, no more questions. So he thinks this is a hat now, and I'm really curious to see his reaction. Also, when he sees the finished piece, and he's like, wait a minute, I thought you were making a hat. So I thought I'd share that as well. Sailor slippers. As I was purchasing yarn for them, I also purchased more for another set, since I knew before starting that I would want to make them for myself. And I'm making them in this color combo, and it is made in Drops Snow, which is really bulky yarn. You knit it up on 8mm needles. So that's why it goes so quickly. A little more about the color combinations that I've made, since I chose these colors specifically for my sister-in-law, since she renovated her bedroom last year, and with that she made really nice wallpaper for the bedroom, which are these stripes, and I think the colors of these slippers are now really similar to the colors in her bedroom. So I thought that was really fun to do so. So that's why I chose these colors for her. And continuing on that same path, I chose these colors for myself, also matching something in my house, and that's my kitchen. We have a very funky kitchen with green tiles and yellow on the walls. So I thought, why not continue that theme of something in your house? I thought it would be fun. So that's why I'm making these for myself. And as you can see, way bigger than before you felt them. They really shrink in the washing. So they are going to look comically large before that. So that is a segue to my works in progress, I guess. So, a pair of sailor slippers for myself. Something I've also been working on this month, also connected to the sailor slippers, are these socks. I've casted on these cuddly cat socks, a pattern that I found on Ravelry. With these little cats in between. These I also made first with yarn that I had in stash for my sister-in-law, since they have 2 cats, and these colors are something that I know she loves, this combination of pink and orange. So together I thought, this is going to be a funny pair of socks. So I started working on them on 2.5mm needles, but they are too tight. Something in my color work and the long floats, because of the long motif, is just not working. So I was working on this before switching to the sailor slippers. So that's something that I've been working on in this month, but I feel like this is not gonna fit her totally. I was not sure if this was gonna work, so I decided to go another route, and I will probably be abandoning this project, but I thought, why not show it to you? That I have been working on that. So those socks will likely not reappear on this podcast. Yeah. What else have I been working on? I've also been working on my boyfriend's design sweater. He came up with this design with the colors and the waves and everything. And I calculated it and made it into a pattern, which I'm knitting up. So I have finished the front of his sweater. It looks not pretty at all right now, but yeah, front panel finished. And I have, where is it? Cast it on the back panel, just on the ribbing. And I'm working this sweater up in Scapious Merino Soft, which is a combination of superwash merino, 25% micro and 25% acrylic yarn. So a lot of acrylics, but I think that was really necessary to get these vibrant colors that he wants. Yeah, so that's on that design. I've talked about the design in my previous podcast episode, and I do not want to repeat all of it. So if you're interested in what this is going, what the overall vision is, I recommend you watch my previous podcast episode. Yeah, and I've been working on this sweater in the past month. I've been working on another sweater as well. This is a sweater for me, and it is the Kip sweater by Rebecca Clow, which is an all-over slip stitch motif, which creates this lovely herringbone detail. I really like how the color looks. I have blocked the body of it as already, for the most part. And this is a project that I've cast on last year, maybe. I think I'm working on it for an entire year, and I'm struggling with it a lot since I'm not hitting gauge. I swatched for it, I wasn't hitting gauge, but I still wanted to make the herringbone design with this yarn. This is also the Isker Jensen yarn, but in this lovely burnt orange color. And I've got 5 100 gram skeins of these, so I hope to have enough for a sweater, I think so. And yeah, I've talked about it in my first podcast episode, and back then I had quite a sleeve going, but I had ripped that back entirely. And that was the second time I was knitting that sleeve. First time I picked up the stitches as recommended in the pattern, but that did not work out with my stitch gauge, of course, so I had to rip back, cast on way more stitches, way too many stitches, and I got these really big sleeves compared to the quite fitting body. Looked just really weird, and ripped out my sleeve again, and now I am casting them on in the amount of stitches that now I feel confident. Yes, I think it is working as it should. There is a little short row shaping going on in the sleeve, and from now on I continue the slip stitch pattern and decreasing all around. But since it is a slip stitch pattern and you slip 2 out of every 4 stitches, it goes very, very slow. I'm working this on 5mm needles, so it should go fast. My Tendreil was also 5mm. That just, those compared to each other, these feel like I'm working it on 2.5mm needles, and it's just, I've stopped in between working on it. Because of that, it feels a little bit like a slog. And of course I knew that. I expected that out of this sweater. And I still casted it on anyway, since I think, come on peeps, it's really, really pretty. It's a really good design. I just cannot ignore this beauty. So I will finish it eventually, but maybe with breaks in between. Knitting is supposed to be fun, so we can take breaks if we get sick of something. So that's my kip sweater by Rebecca Clow in Isike Jensen yarn that I've been working on. What else? In my previous podcast episode, I've talked all about this lovely hand-dyed yarn that I found. It is a yarn from the Mindful Creators. It's the green, dark green colorway of her Meet Me in Velaris collection. I have bought this in the, what's it called? In the fingering weight, 100 gram skein, and I've caked it up to work up a little tiny scarf, and I've talked about making my own design for that, and that's what I've been doing in the past month. With sock yarn I tried out some different looks. So this is one of the designs where I made in 1x1 ribbing, which cinches in and lays nice and flat and looks a little bit stockinette. That's what was the look that I was going for the point. And then in the middle I have some small stitch, seed stitch going on. And in my second sample, where is this second sample? Here. I have made the ribbing detail a little smaller and created some lace detail and some cable details, really small cables though, to come up with this design. And I've had my inspiration come from those classic bandana looks. So yeah, that is something that I was working on. And then I thought, let's try it out with this yarn, because this yarn might behave a lot differently, and it does. It's a lot thinner, so it's good that I tested that out. But with that, I totally messed up the ball. Yeah, I am so sad. I have to untangle all of this, and after that I think I will make 2 50-gram balls out of it, and that way it will be way more manageable, I hope, because this just got tangled up so bad. When I started pulling it from the center, I just got really big lump of yarn, and then I worked from the outside, hold it together, and it just got tangled up even more and more. Yeah, so I'm sad. I do not want to lose any of this yarn, so I'm going to find a moment where I sit down and unpick the strands. And once I have that going, I will go back to my yarn ball winder and redo that. That's all my knitting. That's all my yarn related stuff. I've also got some fabric related stuff. I've been sewing again, and I have been I've made 3 objects, 3 pieces of clothing all from the same pattern designer, which is Paradise Patterns. She has some really good basics. So I purchased her Blomma tank pattern, which is just a really good high neckline tank pattern, and her Honeygold tee pattern. And the Honeygold tee pattern, you can have all these options in modifying it, in lengthening or shortening the body, adding a turtleneck, short sleeve, long sleeve, and all of that. Low neckline as well is also an option. So with this pattern, I thought I've heard good things about it and I wanted to try it out. Okay, so I've been sewing up those patterns, starting off with the Blomma tank pattern. I have made it out of this dark pink color fabric with a rib going vertically. And with the same fabric, I've also been working on a turtleneck with long sleeves, which is I'm also really happy with. And I've made a short sleeve turtleneck out of this dark blue fabric. And it's like maybe like quarter sleeve, I don't know. Anyway, these were items that I was really missing in my wardrobe, and I've purchased some more ribbed fabric to make more of them. And maybe I will get up to that my next holiday. I don't know. Yeah, I can insert some footage of me wearing these pieces, because showing them to you like this is not giving you all the best of the best look. Yeah, but I must say I really like the patterns as well. Yeah, they are really classic. I think I don't need to purchase any t-shirts or turtlenecks or any of those basics. I can just make them myself. I crank these out, each one of them, maybe an hour, hour and a half. If I run into issues, maybe 2 hours, and then I have a new piece. And this way I can choose my fabrics and my colors intentionally and put on some music and crank out one of these for myself, which I really like. I wear a lot of turtlenecks, so really happy with these patterns. So that is all of the knitting, the sewing, the making that I've been up to last month. And I hope you enjoyed this video and seeing my projects. And if you did, please leave a comment down below. You can also tell me what you are working on right now. And if you like my videos, you can go down below to click the subscribe button, and that way you will not miss another video. So thank you again for your time, and I hope to see you in my next video.